Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Ask an Introvert podcast. Welcome to a mini series where I interview my actual friends, friends from online and friends from real life. Today we have with us Ray. Ray, would you like to introduce yourself?
You have such a sweet voice.
Thanks, Ray.
Hi, I'm Ray. I'm a speaking coach. I'm based in Singapore, but I really love traveling, and that's how we met, Jennifer and I. Well, in the end, we did become travel sisters. I think traveling is something that is slowly starting to define me. So I really love traveling. I love being on stage. I love sharing stories. I love creating experiences with my voice for my clients and for events that I host and create. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. A little mix of business and me, personal life
Thanks,
intro.
Ray. I can see us someday hosting like a retreat in a place like Costa Rica together.
Yes. I can
Yes.
imagine that. Though I have never been to Costa Rica, but I've heard that it's really good, really amazing.
Oh,
And I
perfect.
want to have the coffee there.
I haven't been there either, so it could be a first for both of us. Yeah. So we met online, but then we are now friends in real life and we traveled together. I'm curious, as our friendship grew, did you have any hesitations about meeting me in person?
Okay, interesting. So let me just share with you something I don't know if you know. I don't think I ever told this to you. The first interaction that I ever remember of us was on Instagram, where I think I DM'd you or the other way around, but it started in the Instagram DMs. And I remember mentioning your name as Jen. Like I said, hey Jen, right? This was like 2 years ago or something. And you replied something with like, oh, it's interesting how you mention my name as Jen with two N's, which is my preferred short form as opposed to JEN. I don't know if you remember this.
I don't remember this, but it sounds very me.
And actually when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't know that people had had I don't know how to put this, were particular about how their name was being said. So I actually freaked out for a minute there. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't know why I kind of freaked out. But I was so glad that you put a smiley face behind that message and everything was okay. And I think along the way, like I did share this with you that I had a little bit of fear in speaking to you generally because you have a very calm presence. And as an extrovert, I'm very like vibrant. So when I'm really vibrant and cheery, in my mind, when the person responds with like vibrance and cheeriness, it means that they like me.
Hmm.
And if they don't respond with vibrance and cheeriness, if they're kind of like calm or like with more silence, their face is maybe a bit more like blank, I would start overthinking, like, oh my gosh, I think that they don't like me. What's happening? So I can't read them. So I feel like you have this very calm presence. Rico as well, our mutual friend Rico.
Yeah.
And so whenever you have this calm, you take a few seconds to think, you respond with a more slower pace of voice. I find myself before we started really becoming friends, like initially in our acquaintanceship, I started thinking like, oh my gosh, I don't know if Jennifer likes me. Is she judging me? That was actually a thought that was in my head,
Oh,
in the earlier formation of our friendship.
I really had no idea. Well, it's funny because I'm the opposite. I'm like, not that I don't, yeah, so it's a kind of opposite. So as an introvert, like having someone react really vibrantly and very externally joyful to me, I don't think that they don't like me, but I do freak out. Like I'm like, this is a lot of energy coming at me. So I don't think I told you this, but like online we have like the Zoom barrier, right? So like as vibrant as you are, as playful as you are, as energetic as you are, like I feel like it doesn't take up my energy in the way that it would in person. with some extroverts. And so before I met you in real life, I had to sit and think like, what am I gonna do if like it's by no fault of yours, right? Like, but what if I just can't handle all the energy of your presence coming at me when I meet you? Like, how am I gonna do this? Like, am I gonna hurt her feelings if I put up a boundary? Or like we're meeting at the airport right after I'm coming off of a 17-hour flight. Where am I gonna go hide? And these were the thoughts that were going through my mind.
Wow. I mean, it must have been, I can imagine that. Because actually, for me, I've had a friend that was more extroverted than me.
Mm.
Can you believe it? Someone like that exists. Yeah, but I met a friend that was more extroverted than me. Like, imagine me, but like times two or times three the energy. And though I love her so dearly, we went to school together. But I remember there were multiple times where I'm like, okay, I just need a break. I just need a break. I just want to have some peace and quiet, please. But I didn't actually tell her. I would just like go to the toilet and like sit down and go like, or I'll find a place to hide. Because we were always hanging out. We were the close friends. We we're always hanging out together. We'll go to recess together. We'll go back to class together. And sometimes I just needed a break. So I can imagine what you was worried about. Because I've been through that before and it can be a lot.
Yeah. But it turned out to be fine. Like, what? We stacked my suitcases up on a cart and then you pushed me around. Yeah.
I don't
We
know if
both,
I pushed you around. I think
I
someone
don't even
else did.
remember. Yeah.
We were
But
finding food.
yeah, but we were finding food and you and I are both laughing, and we had two other friends with us, and it turned out that you and I are the more energetic ones. So like I had nothing to worry about.
That's true. You're
Yeah.
actually way more energetic than I imagine. When we meet in real life, your playfulness and your childlike joy, it kind of comes out in random spurts, especially when we're traveling. And
Yeah.
that's something that's definitely surprising to me.
Ooh,
A good
yeah.
surprise.
I think that will surprise anyone who hasn't met me in real life yet. But I think part of it is because I do actively and intentionally manage my energy so well that like when you see me in my physicality, it's like I'm skipping, I'm kicking into the air, I'm throwing my arms around, and that's a different experience. But yeah, on this note of friends that are on different energetic levels and stuff like that, have you ever had a friendship where there was an energy mismatch?
Hmm. I actually have a friend before that everything logically made sense. This person, they they spoke in a very cordial way. They were kind. This person was kind. This person said nice things about me. Like, I wouldn't use the word friendship. I guess, yeah, actually I did see it as a friendship. So everything felt logically okay. But even though everything felt logically okay, I just felt like there was this barrier between me and this person that I couldn't be completely myself with them.
Mm.
I don't know if it's necessarily an energy mismatch or it's like a values mismatch,
Um,
but I just felt like I couldn't be completely me, which I would like with people that I consider my friends. Or even when I work with like clients, or when I work with actually even any of my relationships, I would feel like I can be myself, at least the aspect of myself that I want to be with them, even if it's like a business relationship. I don't have to feel afraid to talk about my ideas business wise. I won't be worried that they would judge me. If it's a friendship, I can be myself, in my PJs, or I can just be 100% me. And I won't have to be worried that they are going to like judge me. They can tell me, hey, hey, Ray, if let's say I want to rant or I want to say something that I'm upset about, they can tell me, hey, Ray, like, honestly, I don't have the capacity for this right now. And that's okay. Like, a boundary is fine, but I won't be worried that they're like judging me or they think negatively of me. But with this person, I just felt like I couldn't be completely myself in that capacity in our relationship. So I was kind of like scratching my head thinking why? Like, why is it? Logically, this person is doing everything right, but why? But a friend of mine then told me, she said, like, Ray, sometimes you don't need a reason to not pursue a deeper relationship with someone. Sometimes the reason I just don't feel great around this person can be a good enough reason. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, I guess that's true. Right. And me and this person, we're not so close to the extent that we're not like best friends. So it wouldn't be strange if like I slowly stopped talking to this person as much.
Mhm.
And then I made the decision that anybody that I surround myself with are people that I feel comfortable around. Yeah.
Mm.
Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that's a powerful lesson from your friend that not all relationships need to grow deeper. But another tidbit was like a good friendship or good relationship of any sort is a space where you can really be yourself. And that's, yeah, that's one for the books, I would say. There was one note in your story that where you said if a friend sets a boundary and say, "Hey, I just need some space to myself," and you handle it very gracefully. Have you ever has it always been that way? Oh, I lost you.
Yeah, I think, okay, wait, I'm so sorry.
Wait.
Give me like a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let's start from I'll just ask that
Um,
question again.
1 minute, 1 minute.
Okay.
No, 1 minute. Just change. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I hope this is better. My
Okay.
Wi-Fi has been like slightly funky. I don't know why.
Oh no. Can you
Okay.
move your arms like this? I'm gonna take that clip and make a random reel with it probably.
Okay.
Okay. Or maybe I'll just take it from the
That's the
top.
clapper.
Thank you for sharing that story, Ray. So I'd say like two powerful takeaways I got from it is one, the lesson from your friend that not all relationships, whether it's friendships or a working relationship, needs to deepen. And that gives you permission to let it just be what it is. The other piece is a good friendship really lets you be yourself. And when you mentioned a friend who, put up a boundary and said, "Hey, I just need some space and time for myself," and how you respect that, I think that is you letting your friend be themselves. And I really like seeing that example because I think a lot of introverts worry about putting up boundaries. As an extrovert, were you ever offended or frustrated when someone put up a boundary?
I recall that the only times that I was frustrated was when the boundary was put up without my knowledge.
Um,
Yeah, meaning the person put up a boundary without telling me that they're putting up a boundary. So to me, I received it as like avoidance, or then it becomes like a huge question mark. Like, why is this person not replying my messages? Or why is this person kind of being cold? Right. This is like years ago because now the people that I'm close friends with are people that are pretty honest. Like if they need rest or if they need a break or if it's just not the right time and there's anything that they need to tell me, they will tell me straight up. They'll send me a message or whatever. But this was years ago when I was in university. And this group of friends that I considered my closest batch of friends back then, they kind of suddenly one day shared with me that they were angry at me for not making time for them, you know? And this kind of came as a surprise. I mean, I did have additional responsibilities at that point in time. I was freelancing more, I was doing more like part time work. But this was kind of like random to me. Like, I never knew that this expectation was created in the first place.
yeah.
Right. And of course, I guess on my part, I was very maybe overwhelmed with the number of responsibilities that I put on my plate at that point in time that I kind of forgot to like schedule in time to meet them in advance and I was just kind of sucked into this whirlwind of work, right? And I'll say, like, I'll hang out with you guys next time, okay? Count me out for this one. And this kind of went on, but the conversation of me being overwhelmed or them being unhappy that I wasn't joining them was never brought up until resentment built up, and they kind of like, one of them actually like lashed out on our Telegram group saying, hey, you always say that you'll come next time, but you never join us. Right. And so I was taken aback. I was like, oh my God, like I never knew that you were so upset to this extent. So I think that whether it's like expectations or boundaries, it needs to be shared, it needs to be communicated when any unhappiness, even like a small sliver, comes up, and any discomfort, unhappiness, or lack of safety. As long as it comes up, I think it needs to be shared early on, right? Because otherwise, if it builds up over time, then there's a risk that the relationship would slowly degrade due to a buildup of resentment. And I feel like that was the case for that particular friendship. Moving ahead, I ensure that at any point in time, like if I ever feel unhappy, or I ever feel like I'm so tired, I can't meet you, if there's anything at all, I'll be honest and I would share and I would hear their point of view. And I hope that my friends do the same thing as well.
I can think of a situation where I was the opposite, where I was the friend lashing out. And but over time, as my friendships have evolved and as I've just had more life experience, how I handle it now is like, oh, I feel like I haven't really heard from this person, or oh, I haven't hung out with so and so in a long time. I I realize now it used to be because why I would lash out or feel resentful, it was coming from a place of, oh, they don't care about me anymore.
Mm.
But then now, when I go to that place, I also ask myself, how am I taking care of my friend right now? And that kind of eases things on my end too. And then I reach out first. But before, it used to be so hard to say, hey, we haven't hung out in a while. I'd really like to see you. For some reason, it used to be easier to say, hey, you haven't made time for me. And it's so interesting to now look back and put those two things side by side, because I think even if I went backwards in time and I presented my past self with those two options, that I would pick, hey, we haven't hung out in a long time. I really want to see you, over it. This is all your fault. You don't care about me. You don't make
Mm.
time for me. But I didn't have those words back then. For someone who's feeling some discomfort come up and feeling scared to address it with their friend, how would you suggest they handle that conversation?
I would say number one is to kind of write down everything you want to say on a piece of paper first. It's better to just put it out there visually instead of let it like cook up in your head. Because if you let it cook up in your head and it's not really like written or practiced, there's a tendency to allow emotions, an emotional wave, to cause all of that stuff in your head to be blurted out, maybe not in the best way. And probably a tendency to hurt yourself and a friend. So I would say, like, number one, like put out everything you want to say on a piece of paper so you can take a look at it. And it also allows the emotions to kind of like settle down a little bit. You won't be talking to your friend in an emotional high or emotional low. You put it on a piece of paper and you can, in the near future, approach the conversation with a little bit more of like a balanced, calm state of mind. So put it down on a piece of paper. And the second step is, as you look at the piece of paper with all the things you want to say, examine it from your friend's perspective. This is what I would do. I would imagine myself as my friend and look at it and go like, how do I feel? If I were my friend, how do I feel? Is there anything that I would say to that I wouldn't know about your situation? Like, is there anything that my friend might be going through right now that I'm unaware about? So you kind of put yourself in your friend's shoes and think about how they would feel or how they might currently be feeling now. Think about what are the things they're going through at the moment, any certain seasons or phases of life they have right now. Maybe they just got a kid, right? Maybe they have a new job. Maybe they might be in a different period of their life, difficult period of their life that you don't know about. So when you put yourself in your friend's shoes, it's gonna be easier to feel a little bit more calm and neutral about the situation. I think that it's easy to feel like your friend doesn't care about you when you see things only from your perspective. And all of us have different needs, right? So, for example, for a friend, that person might need more alone time than me. And it's easy to go like, you're spending so much time alone. You spend a whole week alone. What do you mean you don't have time? It's easy to like think that way. But when I put myself in my friend's shoes, I'd be like, okay, this person is different. Yes, this person seems to need more alone time. Maybe this person is an introvert, or this person tends to work best when he. So I kind of understand the person better, and that allows me to see the situation from a more neutral perspective. And then number three would be in your head already, like imagine the entire conversation, so like you kind of think about how I would approach the conversation, how I would tell my friend, hey, I would love to tell you, speak to you about this because I really care about our friendship and this has been something that's on my mind for a while. So I'll literally rehearse it in my head. I'm gonna say it this way. What would she say? How would I respond? How would I share my feelings while asking about her feelings? So I'll kind of rehearse it in my mind so that when I actually have the conversation, I'm able to share my emotions in a way that isn't gonna come off as hurtful.
Mm.
Yeah. So I think these three steps would be very helpful in managing your emotions and then going into the conversation in a more like neutral way. And I think there's a higher chance that this friendship would remain good, after the
Yeah.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, those are really good tips. I would like to add that it's also important to remind yourself you're friends with this person for a reason. So, in the moment, if you feel like they don't care or if you feel a little bit distant, think about how you became friends in the first place because it, they may feel like strangers right now, but they haven't always been strangers. And tap into like when your friendship was good, how would you react then?
Mm.
Uh, instead of just in this
I like
very
that.
specific moment. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think this applies for relationships too.
Yeah, I think so. I think friendships are harder than relationships.
Really?
Okay, well,
I don't
I
know.
think they hurt more if things aren't going
Oh,
well. Yeah. Because you don't really
oh,
ever
okay.
expect it to not go well either in a friendship. Like your friends. Friends are easy. Friends get you. Everything tends to go smoothly with friends. Whereas, like in a relationship, a romantic relationship, I feel like you expect to have conflicts. Or, like, at least that's how it works in my head. I imagine myself in a relationship. I'm like, oh man, a fight is going to boil up at some point with my
Okay,
partner.
I guess.
Yeah. But then,
Like friends are the one that you see yourself going to get support from if let's say you're blowing
exactly.
up with your partner, right?
Exactly. And so yeah, maybe it's just been a while since I've had a fight with a friend or anything like that. But
Same.
yeah. But for me, like, if we can talk about breakups, friendship breakups hurt more to me.
Have you had a friendship breakup?
I've had a few actually.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I've only had one.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's hard.
It's hard. I've had a few. Some like grow apart naturally, some evolve into different types of friendships. But there are
Mm.
two that stand out to me where I intentionally broke up with them as friends. One
What
was
would
a
how would that how would you end up making that decision? Like it has to be a really big value difference, etc.
yeah, I mean, it's it's hard to say. Like I don't want to put some kind of framework around this,
Yeah, that's
but
true.
I think deep down if you just feel more and more hurt by the friendship, it's okay to let go.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's the thing about friendships and relationships. There really isn't a formula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you just know, and then but it's weird because like the longer the friendship or the relationship is, you start to grow together through different seasons. So then you have to ask, at least I feel that I have to ask myself, like, is this just another season to ride through, or is this really time to call it quits?
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good point. Like, is it, and also I guess, are the good things about that friendship slash relationship worth the struggle right now,
Yeah.
right? Or is the struggle so heavy, or like maybe it's just been, you've been diverging so much that the struggle is just too much, that is like harmful, that you need to just like let it go.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the a values difference ended up, yeah, both of those friendship breakups, it ended up with values differences. Yeah.
Mine too.
Mm.
Yeah, mine was like ended up because of values difference as well.
Yeah. Like it was a transitional time in my life. Like I was just graduating university. So it was like, okay, I'm growing in this way and they're growing in that way. But this isn't just different life paths. We literally have different fundamental values that are going to challenge our friendship as we go on.
Yeah. I think another thing that is very important determinant on whether a friendship will go on is, for me, can I see that my friends like have my best interest at heart,
Mm,
right? And they're there to support me, to under even if they don't understand certain decisions I have, they trust me to make the right decisions for myself.
mhm,
Like that's very important in a friendship, you know.
mm,
Yeah. And in no situation will I ever be okay with my friend, like with a friend looking down on me, or a friend like, I guess, making fun of a decision that's important to me. Like there should be no like making fun, making me feel small. I think that is like unacceptable.
mm,
And when that happens, even if it's just one time, and I can see that that is not for fun, like that they're really seriously like hurting me, you
mhm,
know, like that's something that I'm definitely gonna cut the cord. And that was the case for that particular friendship. You know,
mm,
I think it's important to break it when you really got to break it. And I think that's why it's important to have a few groups of friends, like, you know, not just have that one group. I remember that there was a time where I only had like that one safe group of friends. And once I had that one safe group, this was in secondary school or in university. Once I had that one safe group, in my mind, I was like, okay, I don't need any friends anymore. This is my safety group, you know.
mm,
But when the safety group fell apart, I needed to find community. I needed to find people that would support me with the new Ray that I'm growing into, you know, the new Ray that is freelancing more, that is caring more about personal development, self growth. Like I needed a group of people that would accept this Ray and that will grow together with me. So I think that, yeah, it's just so important to like listen to yourself and what you need. And if you find yourself growing, sometimes you have to acknowledge that you might like drift apart a little bit with the old friends that might be staying behind, or just have a different path or different values. And you just gotta kind of accept that, right? Because you don't want that to limit you from moving forward, and to limit them from like figuring out their life too. And of course, drifting apart doesn't mean you don't ever spend time with them. Like I have
mm,
friends that I still spend time with, and we're in completely different industries, but the core foundations are there. Like we both respect each other, we both support each other, even if we're doing different things. And I think that's like the most important to me. Yeah.
mm. That's a really good friendship lesson. That's a really good friendship lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need a limited amount of time. Make sure that you're spending it with people that make you happy and supported,
Mm,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah. People that would support you, celebrate you, but also be truthful with you. But when they share truths with you, they do it from a place of love and not from a place of spite. That is so important.
Yeah.
And you can tell. You can tell when someone is giving you a suggestion or advice out of love or out of like deviousness. You can tell. And I think
Yes.
that when you can sense that love, then hold on to those friends. And also love them, like give and contribute to them too.
Yeah. That's that's a good friendship lesson, but also a lesson in how to be a good friend. And it's like
Mm,
you can bring things up, you can call your friends out, but you got to make sure you're doing it from a place of love so that
mm,
they feel that love. Yeah.
yeah. I think a good question to ask is like, when I before you say something, what's my intention of saying this? What's my true intention? Right? When
Yeah.
you ask yourself that question, it kind of checks you a little bit. There are times in the past where I realized that my true intention for saying something is because I want to sound smart. My
Mm,
true intention for giving advice or to like preach to someone, right? And I remember this was young Ray that just discovered the world of personal development. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I think about the past Ray and I want to cringe. But truly, like Ray that just discovered the practice of self-awareness and personal development, she felt she was better than everybody, and she wanted to preach to everybody, even if they didn't
oh.
need advice. Oh my god, past Ray. No, I'm serious, so embarrassing. But yeah, that was me. And there are times that I would think that I'm helping the person, but if I really
Yeah.
check myself, I just wanted to sound smart. I just wanted people to think that I'm amazing and I'm far above my years. And I definitely at that point in time was giving advice out from a place of lack and out of a place of like wanting validation. And it can be so subconscious sometimes.
Yeah.
So
But
it's important to check yourself.
yeah. Well, you learned some good things and I'm sure you also wanted to help while you also wanted to be impressive.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm proud of you in the sense that, you didn't just preach self-awareness. By preaching it, you actually built the self-awareness to understand when you were preaching. Yeah.
And it's hard to meet the truth. Sometimes it's really hard to like, yeah, to admit to yourself. It was hard to admit to myself that me putting on the nice suits and buying the branded bags and saying all of this, like speaking in a certain way, oh my gosh, back then it was me trying to cover up my true insecurities. So it was hard to meet that truth, but I needed to in order to like actually be comfortable with myself now.
During that time, did you make any friends who helped you be more comfortable with yourself? Tying this back to earlier when you talked about how it's important for you to be yourself in your friendships.
Oh my gosh, I need to think.
You can
Oh,
think.
during this point in time. I remember one friend. I mean, I'm sure there were many, but there's this one friend that comes to mind. So I mentioned that when I was in university, there was a group of friends that I needed to break up with, right?
Mm,
And that was when I was taking on new responsibilities and I essentially couldn't drink with them and party with them like 3 times a week anymore. That's why couldn't hang out with them as much anymore. So there was this one friend, a couple of years after I was freelancing and doing all of these new things, she actually looked at me and she said, Ray, to be honest, I really don't know what you're doing. I don't know what this sales thing that you're doing, this marketing thing you're doing, this like, selling products door to door thing that you're doing. You're doing all these random stuff. I really don't know what you're doing. But I want you to know that I really see the growth in you and I'm very proud of you. And I don't think I really need to understand what you do, but I can see that it's good. It's good for you because I can see you growing and I'm really happy for you. And when she said that, like literally all my hairs were standing and I got goosebumps. Oh my
mm.
gosh, I'm getting goosebumps now.
That's
Because in
so
that moment,
sweet.
I just felt so seen. I felt so like loved. I mean, to this day, I just caught up with her over coffee last week. She's the kind of person that I can, not meet for half a year because we're both so busy. But when we meet, it's as if we just met yesterday.
Yeah.
It's just like we can go into conversation like this. And I think it's because we both support and love each other so much, and we both respect each other so much. We don't need to fully understand what the other person is doing.
Mm.
We know that this person is grounded by their values, has good character, and they are going to like do good. And they are a work in progress, but they're gonna just make decisions that feel right to them. And that was how I felt with her, right? And we're all in the same batch. So while certain friends kind of made fun of the things that I was doing without wanting to understand, right? They said certain nasty things without understanding the particular part-time work I was doing, part-time business I was doing, and they made me feel bad about myself. Or rather, they didn't make me feel bad. I felt bad. Okay. I felt bad based on what they said about me. And they were unwilling to really understand what I was doing. Whereas for this friend, she did try to understand what I was doing, but she didn't fully understand like the business I was in, the sales I was doing. But she just felt happy for me because she could see that I was happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was happier. And I think that's enough. Yeah.
That's really beautiful. Yeah. PSA
Yeah.
to the audience, if you have some nice words to share with your friends, go for it. Go for the cheesy, sentimental stuff because you never
Yeah.
know how much they need it or how it will sit with them for a really long time and impact them. Yeah. Wow. Ooh, hearts on Zoom. Wow. We've gotten a lot of good lessons and advice. And I think, yeah, it's also been uplifting, even though we talked about some heavy things. Um,
Mm.
but friendships really are more than the heavy, the difficult stuff. So, Ray, what's your favorite way to hang out with your friends?
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm. Travel.
I have two key things that I like to do, like two main things.
Yeah.
One is just having a meal with them and dive deeper into conversation. Like, you know, and for this particular option, it would be if, let's say, I haven't met them in a while and all I want to do is like have 70 cents coffee and just talk to you. It doesn't matter where we are. We can go for a walk. We can like just sit at the side of the road. Like, it doesn't matter. I just want to talk to you and have a conversation with you. So that's one type, right? And this is more of like I just want to know what you're up to. I want to catch up with you. It's been so long. Or I'm meeting you for the first time in like months, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
AKA like when I'm meeting you. Like just sit down and tell me and just I want to feel you, that kind of thing.
We talk
Then
like
the
every week though.
I know, but it's different. Yeah, it's like hug,
Yeah.
some hug.
Yes.
And the second way would be doing something fun and new that I've never done before, like travel, see a new place, try a new cafe, play golf, which is a new sport that I'm into, paint. So do something fun that I usually wouldn't do myself.
Mm,
So that is one of my favorite ways to like hang out with friends because we have fun. It's a light-hearted thing and we get to be creative. Yeah.
that's awesome. I like those two ways too. And then the key thing for me is potato time. I have this one friend that I only see 2 to 3 times a year at most. And it's really hard for us to get into each other's calendars is the problem. We have to book like 3, 4 months out, even though we don't live that far from each other. And literally we just have potato time. We just lie on the
Oh,
couch together and watch TV.
honestly, I learned that when I met you. And I started
Oh,
hanging out with you. When we hung out in US, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can really enjoy just sitting on the couch and playing like Wii. Oh wait, it's not Wii, PS4.
Nintendo Switch.
Oh, whoops. You see, I've
Yeah,
never played that. That's why. Play
it's
like
okay.
Nintendo Switch. Or just
Yeah.
chill and use our phone.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's really nice to be in someone's presence and that's it.
Yes.
I love potato time.
Yay. I'm glad. Because I do too. Okay. Why am I blanking out? I just want to keep talking, but I am going to
Yeah.
wrap it up here.
I feel like we haven't talked
Uh,
about our friendship enough. A
okay, let's talk a bit more about our
little bit about
friendship.
that. And how has evolved?
How has it evolved? I don't know if yeah. There are friends where when you meet them, you know you're gonna be friends, and then friends where when you meet them and you don't really think about that. And honestly, I didn't really think we would become friends. Not that oh, I feel like I'm digging a hole, but not that I said, oh, Ray and I could never be friends, but I didn't see it at that point in time when we first met.
No, actually, same.
Because, like,
Yeah.
one, you're across the world from me. At that point, you didn't travel. Yeah. So, those quick first judgments, but the unexpected could happen as you get to know someone.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Actually, my closest friends now, including, and of course, you're included in this close friends list, like there are people that I never thought I would be close friends with. And it's for the same reason. Like whether it is, I don't know, maybe I just don't think about it. I feel like I go with the flow a lot. I listen to my
Mm,
feelings and my emotions a lot. If I enjoy hanging out with this person, I hang out more with them. I feel like it's pretty simple, right? Like, do what
yeah,
makes you happy. If you want to be happy, just do more of what makes you happy and hang around the people that make you happy.
yeah. And I think there are some things we have to accept too, like in terms of life circumstances or situations. Sometimes someone's just not gonna have that much time for you, but if you still
Mm,
want them in your life, how do you want to navigate that? Yeah,
yeah,
we're in different time zones, like terribly different time zones, like complete opposite. But I
we
want
talk
you.
every week.
Yeah, I want you in my life. Even if that means like I'll type something in like our chat on Telegram and I don't hear back for 12 hours. That's just a reality of being in different time
Mm.
zones. Yeah.
And but the thing is, the beauty of it is that even though I know that I wouldn't get the response right away, whether I text you or I text other people in different time zones, or like I text people who don't reply as fast, or I text at like 2 a.m. and everybody's asleep. Or, well, people in Singapore are asleep. I feel like even if the person doesn't actually reply and they just react, they press the react button on Telegram, just knowing that I have a safe space to share my thoughts. And that itself already makes me feel so loved. I think that's the beauty of like having friends that you really trust. Like you don't need them to say much. And if you have a friend right now, if you are in a situation where your friend is going through something hard, just know that your presence in itself is already comforting. You don't need to do much or say much.
Yeah.
Like there are times that I would tell text in, the group chat that Jennifer and Rico and I have, like the three of
Mhm.
us. I'll type like a long ass paragraph of me like sharing some of my thoughts and like things that I'm working through.
Yeah.
and then Jennifer would just like type or answer like four brilliant sentences. Right. And you make me feel so seen and also make me think in a good way. And then
Oh,
Reiko is a little bit more, yeah, I mean it depends based on her mood, right? She would say something, she would just say one sentence, or she would like, I don't know, like have a reaction. It doesn't even matter. What matters is
yeah.
that I know that I have people that I can just be myself with. And like
Mm,
that's enough. Right. And sometimes I don't even need like an answer to my problems. I just need to know that I have people I can count on. And that's the power of friendship. When you find the right people and you nourish the friendships that you really care about. Because at the end of the day, like you don't get to take anything back to heaven with you. You can only
mm,
remember the friendships you've had, the love you've shared, and the good you've done.
yeah.
And there is this one thought that someone shared with me. I can't remember who. And this person was saying how, like, nowadays, like, we are all talking about, or like at this age, as millennials or like young adults, we talk about like saving, we talk about the importance of, like saving money and managing our finances, or like growing our money, investing our time and money into building a business or building a brand for ourselves, etc., etc. Investment. We talk about investment. But I think sometimes we forget that one of the most valuable investments and the most important investments is investing time in our relationships.
Mm,
Yeah, because and it's so weird for me to use the word investment because I don't even like to think of relationships as investments. Like it's so weird,
yeah.
but but the point is like, let's say if you reach a point in time where you lose everything, like you go through a bad thing, like you lose your job, you go through a bad breakup or whatever, and you're
Yeah.
just incapable of like earning money, or you have lost everything and you have $0 in your bank, right? The people that will be there to catch you when you fall would be your friends. The people that you can show up 4 a.m. at their house and go like, hey, I don't have a place to stay. Can I stay with you? And they're like, hey, yes, I'm sure, come right now, you know? And these are the people that you want to have at least a few in your life, because when you can do that for each other, I feel like that's what makes life so much more meaningful and so much more like worth it. When you know that even if you have nothing, you have no credential, you're nobody, you know that even if you're nobody in the world, quote unquote nobody, there will be people that care for you and love you for who you are. And just knowing that, I feel just liberates me from a lot of problems or a lot of my worries. And it's something that I remind myself to be grateful for if I'm going through a hard time. Yeah.
Mhm. You are already loved, and there are people who care about you. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes we have to express that care first. Like, am I willing to let my friend into my home at 4 a.m. when they're going through something? Hell yes. Am I
Yeah. I've done
going
that
to?
before.
Yeah. I think one of the things that's good about being in different time zones is you're 2 a.m. I am awake, so I can reply to you. And if I'm
Yeah.
distressed at 2 a.m., I have you to reply to me.
I also have you to keep me up.
Oops, like right now. Thank you, Ray.
This is early.
um, what else did I want to say? I think it's yeah, you were saying like someone can just react to your message. And I think emojis, thank goodness for emojis. Emojis have given everybody in the world, and especially introverts, just more ways to express ourselves. Sometimes I really don't have the words for things, and I used to feel really bad if I didn't know what to say or didn't have anything to say. But now I'm really comfortable with just saying, I don't have anything to say to that, but go on, keep telling me more. Say everything you need to say, because it's not necessarily about me having to offer something back. Sometimes the friends just need that safe space to express themselves.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Huh. I'm not sure if we told anybody more about our friendship because we just keep spewing out awesome lessons.
I wonder
Mm.
what people want to know about our friendship.
What is
Hmm.
one thing that you only have in our friendship and no other friendship?
What a great question. Oh my gosh. Ah. Mm.
Yeah, you're the only friend I would hold hands with and skip down the street with. I don't think I'm your only friend who does that with you.
No, because I have extroverted friends. No, I was gonna say I think you wouldn't mind do that with Reiko, but Reiko definitely won't do that. I don't think she's
Yeah,
the kind of person that would skip.
no, that really only exists in our friendship. Like, yeah, I have a few friends like who will hold my hand for a bit, but yeah. But if I wanted to skip like down the river in Malacca or something, you're the person.
No. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. I feel that based on my knowledge and current situation now, you are the only friend that, oh man, I'm so careful to say this, but it's true. Okay. You're the only friend that would like give me tiny things or tiny gifts in the most thoughtful way. Like, for example, the letter that you sent me, or like the pin that you gave me. Like
Mm.
the little things that show me that you remember me. I
Means
still
a
keep that letter.
Oh, that means a lot to me because I'm not really a gift giver. Like, I miss birthday gifts. I don't do Christmas gifts. It's just like really something has to move me in order to gift someone a physical object.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. But that's something I only have with you.
Nice. There's something like this in every friendship that makes it unique. And I hope
Oh, that's such a nice question. I like that.
yeah. I saw you being careful not to offend your other friends though.
Yeah, I had to think of like the other things. I feel like in that split second, I need to think of that special thing with all my other friends. They're like, okay, yes, that's true.
No, we're in a one-on-one situation right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Ray, for anyone who wants to make friends and they're thinking about working with me, what would you say to them?
Oh man, that's such a good question. I would say that making friends is a very intentional process.
No, I lost her. Technical difficulties means a break for me.
Okay, we're
Okay.
back.
Yay, we're back.
Oh man.
Oh, that
Okay.
was about to be
So you
so
asked
good.
the question. You
Yeah,
asked the question.
so you can start at making friends is a very intentional
Okay,
effort.
got it. Making friends is a very intentional process. It requires self-awareness to know who you are, what your values are, what your priorities are, what kind of friends you want to make, what kind of relationships you want to deepen. And it also requires like understanding how you relate to different types of people. And I feel like these two things is one of is two of the many things that like Jennifer is really, really good at. Like truly. And I say this because like I realized that as an extrovert, past me that was a little bit less self-aware would just make so many different friends. And actually, they're not friends, they're just acquaintances. I'll just make so many different people, and I wouldn't know who to invest my time in. I'll just be meeting 10 people for like meals and not really knowing who are like real friends. But and coming from that context and seeing how you make friends, right, Jennifer? Like, I realized that for you, you are very careful about who you let into your circle. You don't just befriend everybody, like you're careful of who you let into your circle, and you're very clear of your intentions and your values. You're very clear of who you are and the kind of people that you want to have in your life. And I can see how that your intentional choice in that has created the life and the business that you have right now, right? A business that is global, a business that allows us to be talking on this podcast right now. Like everything that is happening in your brand and your business is so intentional and is not by chance or not random. We only have one life, right? And I feel like every choice has to be one that's aligned to you. And because you're so good at both the self awareness, you're a life coach. So self awareness and knowing how to relate to different people, introverts, extroverts, people from of different ages and cultures, that makes you like the best person to coach and guide people how to make friends.
Oh, thank you. I always hesitate to ask that question because it really puts my friends on, or I think it would put my friends on the spot, but oh, you all say it so much better than me, and I feel really supported.
Oh, but it's so
Um,
true.
yeah.
That's true.
So, Ray, for anyone who wants to connect with you further, where can they find you online? How can they work with you? Anything you want to share?
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram at Raymatrix, Raematrix, and I would love to talk to you there. I was gonna share how to work with me and what I do, but I thought it would be fun to ask you.
Oh, shoot.
I mean, you know that I help people own their
Yes.
voice, build
Yes.
radical self-trust with their voice, and amplify their voice, their brand, and their message.
Yeah.
So why do you think, for anybody out there that wants to own their voice, why do you think I'm the best person to why do you think I'm the best person to talk to?
Yeah. So I think for anyone who is ready to step onto a stage, no matter what that looks like for them, but if you're going for a really public speaking, Ray is the person who's going to help you own your voice. You're not just going to get the skills that anybody can teach you and how to write a speech or how to talk to an audience, but she's going to help you infuse every bit of who you are into how you speak. And that's really how I interpret. Why am I losing my voice as I'm talking about owning your voice? Let me start from,
That's how I
yeah. So, really infusing your personality into how you show up is how I interpret owning your voice. And Ray is very thoughtful in how she guides you through all of that. She's not going to force you to speak like her, even if that should be why you're drawn to her, but you don't have to be a cookie cutter version of Ray. And I think that's really unique to find in a speaking coach, which was why I was drawn to her. We were in a coach client relationship before we were friends. And the way that I show up on this podcast, how I can interview Ray, and how I navigate that pause, that is all ways in which is my personal way of owning my voice, which Ray has supported me to accept in myself and show up as myself. And so, if that's the kind of speaking coaching that you want, then Ray is the person you need to seek.
I mean, you said it beautifully.
Thanks.
And I'm so happy that you have invited me on this cozy chat. I'm so happy that you created this podcast. I'm so happy that you're using your voice and creating your own stage, your own global stage right now as we speak. Like, I'm just so happy that we get to both journey with each other throughout life and business and see and celebrate with each other and also like support each other through any lows. I'm just so happy that we're friends.
Me
I'm
too.
so happy that we met online and we had that coach client relationship and now we're friends and travel sisters.
Yes. Thank you for making the time for this. Yeah.
You're welcome.
I don't really want to end this conversation.
I
It's the problem that
know.
I'm having right now.
We gotta bring the
Yeah.
audience in. Okay, so
Yeah.
if you're listening and you want to be part of this conversation, ask Jennifer questions for her future episodes. Ask her questions on her Instagram. If there's any questions about our conversation, she'll send them to me. Maybe we'll both answer them on our Instagram stories. I don't know. However, we
Yeah.
decide to get that answer to you, it will be answered. Maybe
Yes.
we'll have some Instagram live together. We don't know. We'll figure things out. We talk every week. So
Yes. That's it for today, then, friends. Enjoy your week. Tune in again for some more friend episodes, and I will drop how to find Ray and me in the show notes as usual. Okay. Bye.
bye.